Hello, people. Yes, this is Toni Weel. We are live, I hope, I think. Yes, we are. Yeah, it is another beautiful day from Florida. I love saying that. And I'm a little bit mean, when I know that some of you are up in the cold with storms, and here I am you know, in sunny Florida. But we get our share later on with the storms. Right now, it's gorgeous. We've been working super hard on the yard I don't even want to sit inside anymore. Everything is getting so pretty with all the spring flowers, all the colors. It's like amazing. I totally forgot that so early in the year here, you already have all these spring flowers, all that color. Last week I went to a huge plant market and I'm like, oh yeah, I want that, all these colors. It was crazy. If you saw them hauling back all the flowers to the car, it was hilarious. But a lot of fun, and it's always a good thing to have nature around you and enjoy all these things. The big bumblebees. I haven't seen any butterflies yet, but I have a lot of flowering plants that attract the butterflies. So it's absolutely gorgeous. We have another gentleman in the waiting room to whom I
Oh,
said, yeah, you can join us and ask questions. So actually, I would like to do that before we start with the topic about the lymph system and have a few questions. And actually, there was one that Sarah just asked me before we started, and I think that is a good one, Sarah, to also discuss here because I think it happens to a lot of people. And so I will let, I don't know if John or John Chambers or Anne is here, maybe both. So I will just have him coming in.
Okay. I was just asking Toni when we got started. Well, first of all, hello everybody. And I was asking Toni when we got started, hey, what are some sodium rich foods, natural foods? And when I did a Google search, it came up with
Wrong.
dairy,
Well,
cheese.
yeah, you can join us and ask questions.
I think somebody
Hold
needs to
on.
go on mute.
Yeah, no, it was John who was on. I muted him.
Okay, perfect.
They have the video playing and they are here. So John or Ann,
Yes.
whoever is here, you have to turn the video off.
Like at least pause it or mute it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So and then I will unmute you soon. So all right, Sarah, keep
Yep,
going.
no problem. So, what are sodium rich foods naturally? And when I did a search on the internet about it, it came up with dairy, cheese, and biscuits. And I just started laughing. I said, who wrote this? And
yeah.
so I was going to scroll down to the bottom and check it out. But then I backed out of it. And then I went to, I think the next one down was Wiki. And then it said that you can get sodium pills. And I'm like, great, who wrote this one? And then as I just kept going down the list, it's like it kept getting worse and worse.
Wow.
So I was like, this is ridiculous. So and then I just jumped on the call because I was a searcher right before I got on the call. And then Toni did a search on like what fruits. So it is like papaya, honeydew, and things like that, which I knew that was out there. I had just not had a chance to check, but I found it quite, I mean, it's scary that that's the first information out there. But of course, my brain goes right to who in the world wrote this?
Right.
Yeah, not only that, because the thing is, why is nobody asking like, what is the cause? Why do
Yeah.
I low sodium? And you and I already figured it out. That was an easy one. And that went into what are your drinking habits? Why would sodium be low?
Yes.
Of course, there can be other reasons than the one that we figured out, but this was an easy one. If you drink your water too fast and maybe too much, then it gets diluted and your electrolytes are getting off balance, and that is what happens. And then you can get dizziness and things like that. So that is why we always say, you need to drink more water. You need to get to that. Well, at least 3 liters a day would be great, especially when you're detoxing and healing. But zip it throughout the day. Don't drink it so it goes straight through you, or you know, it's just not working. So that was the cause with this. And
Yes.
well, it actually, whatever other cause it could be, it's always like there is an imbalance.
Yep.
You know, not we don't do treatments because all the things that we saw were treatments.
Yes.
And sure, you can eat like the honeydew and the mangoes or whatever else it was, but does that really solve the problem? I don't think so.
Especially when you're consuming water at that rate. And it is not me. I all of a sudden overnight did not become a great water drinker. So yeah, I'm still struggling with that myself, but this is for someone else. And it's actually for my husband. And he consumes lots of water very rapidly. And, that's something they brainwash you in the military. You have to chug your water, chug it, get it down right away. But anything you put into your body that you put in large quantities, usually you're just going to urinate it out because it comes in so rapidly, your body can't process it quickly enough.
Yeah, I thought it was always so funny with Gary's analysis. And Gary, I'm using it pretty much every day. If you drink water and it goes right through and you complain, yeah, but then I have to pee so much, then think about that completely dried out plant that you are giving water and it leaks right away from the bottom. And I thought it was so funny. So I always love pointing that out. And then, then it starts making sense. Otherwise you can come with all kinds of reason, but that plant analysis that was like, yep, that's it.
Yeah. And Gary, can you touch on real quick about because I don't even have it right off the top of my head, but when we do consume water or any kind of liquid and then we get that emergency feeling having to go to the restroom, that's because what was that again?
Well, it's malabsorption.
Yes, that's it.
Okay. So when your cells, they can't move, your cells can't move.
Mm-hmm.
And they're sitting in acid, right? So every cell has to absorb, digest, and eliminate. And it eliminates the waste from that cell is about a 3 pH, which is too hot for the body. So it goes into the lymph nodes. And the lymph nodes are all connected electrically, and it follows through, and each one has a specific job. That's why when they take them out, there's no place for it to go. Now the body, if you're doing the gates on whatever side they took the lymph nodes out on, if you use the gates and open them up and make sure that they're open, it can help eliminate the toxins that are trapped there. A lot of people that have lymph nodes taken out, that side of their body will swell and they'll have edema because the lymph nodes aren't there to work. Now, in all their brilliance, one thing that they're doing right now is they take the lymph nodes out. Let's say they take them out under the arm here, right? They'll go someplace else and take a lymph node, and transplant it over here. Well, it's not supposed to be in there. These have electrical pathways through them. It's like its own brain, right? It knows what to do. So if you take this one from over here and put it over here, it's not in the correct chain, and that can cause all kinds of other issues. Because now, not only have you weakened this area, but you've weakened this area too. Um, we have to be really careful because as that sits in that acid, that cell sits in that acid, it starts to build a mucus layer around it to keep the acid from burning the cell. Well, the more mucus is around that cell, the less absorption you have, and it just goes by. It can't get in the cell, so it can't feed, and it can't hydrate, and it can't oxygenate that cell, and the cell starts to suffocate. It starts to die from dehydration and lack of nutrition, and it can't get in there. So the longer it's there, the worse it gets. And that mitochondria in there starts to get a little wacky. It doesn't have the magnetic pull that it did, so the energy can't enter that cell to do exactly what I said, bring the blood, the oxygen, the hydration, and the nutrition into that cell. So when you're drinking water and it's running right through, that is a malabsorption, classic malabsorption issue. So we sip it, just like we were talking about that plant. So you have a plant, hasn't been watered in a long time, you put it in, it runs right through and goes out the bottom. Well, you're putting it in the top, the water in the top of your body, and is running right through. Same thing. If you take a little bit of water and you put it on top of the plant, it has a chance to absorb into the soil. Well, when you drink it, it has a chance to absorb into the tissue that's really tight, that is swollen or inflamed, or any other name that you want to give it that the medical system has come up with. It's just a simple thing. You just sip it and you wait 5 or 10 minutes and you sip again. And that gives that a chance to absorb in, and you're not running to the bathroom all the time. And that is the whole secret to rehydrating your body, is to give it time. It took it 8 or 10 years maybe to get that dehydrated, maybe longer. So it's not going to happen overnight. And if you get hungry, if you're doing a full cleanse, and you get hungry, you take 3 or 4 good swallows, and then you wait 10 or 15 minutes. If you're still hungry, have 3 or 4 more good swallows, and then wait, because eventually it's going to level out and you're not going to feel hungry anymore. And then you can go back to sipping. But most people are trained to chug things. I know when I was in the service, we carried salt pills in our water. And if we were on a march, about every 3 hours, maybe, we would stop and we'd have some salt tablets and some water. They don't teach us that in school. And because they understand that the energy of the body and the adrenals, they need a little boost when you're out doing stuff like that. It's hot, you're sweating, you're losing hydration, salt is coming out, and the body doesn't produce salt. So even though many people don't agree with it, I have found that a pinch of Himalayan, Celtic, or blue Baja salt in your water, because it has minerals in it and electrolytes, has everything that you need to energize the body. Now, that kind of goes against Dr. Morse and many other people. But what I have found is when the adrenals get really weak, they need that to boost that, to get them back online. It's like a battery that's flat. What do? You boost it. Well, the adrenals are like a battery, and they just need a little bit of charge. And if you want to do a pinch, I'm talking like 18 grains. I'm not talking about much. Maybe wet your finger, stick it on the salt, and put it in or a spoon or whatever. Lick the spoon, touch it, and stir it. That's all you need. You don't need a ton. If you can taste it, there's way too much in there, because you can oversalt just like you can undersalt. You can overhydrate just like you can underhydrate. Everything in the body, you're looking for the balance. So when it comes to malabsorption and water running right through you, sipping the water slowly is the best way that I know of. And like Dr. Morse says, if you have a grape and you're having a hard time with your digestive system, just break the skin with your teeth and suck the juice out and swallow that. And that's how you start. Some people have to start at the bottom because that's where they're at in their physical life. Their physical being is in so much trouble that you start breaking things loose too quick and you get cold and flu-like symptoms. But anyway, I think I answered your question there. That was
You did.
long.
You did. Thank you very much.
It's always funny. Gary loves to answer questions and give us a little bit more that we need to know. And we didn't even know that we needed to know it.
Yeah.
Okay, Bill, or I mean, John or Ann, I will ask you to unmute. If you have a question, make sure that the video on YouTube is on mute, because if not, it will play back. And so, but if you have a question, you can ask. If not, you can just keep listening. Oh, right. Okay, I'm going further into
Hi, Toni.
oh
Is John?
yeah, there you are. Hi.
Sorry, I had to unmute. This is my first time using this, so when Ann's here, she says hi.
Toni,
Hi, guys. Did you have any question that Gary or Sarah or myself can answer for you right now?
Sure. Hi, Gary. Hi, Sarah. Ann, did you want to ask a question or two?
well, the first, I guess we have a question here that's we got into a tub last night,
A bathtub,
a
yeah.
bathtub for the first time in months, for John, and we had put in some magnesium salts, thinking that would be a good idea. And it all went very well until I had washed the tub a little bit before that with, just a natural a lavender soap kind of thing. I don't know, maybe that was the culprit. And also a little like a bicarbonate, sodium bicarbonate. So anyway, I thought that was all kind of rinsed out and everything. So he broke out last night in a lot of weeping and just excessive, more itching, like excessive itching and more rash all over his body. And his skin started getting harder and bumpier, not only on the legs, but in some areas for his back. And so, I mean, his legs had improved to the point where there was no weeping, there was no sores, and there was just a remnant of sores beginning a little bit, but basically his legs stayed pretty much beautifully, healed up. Although he was still getting some flaking of skin, every day, but it was much, 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 much less. And his skin integrity was much better and intact. But anyway, we hadn't had any weeping in weeks and weeks, so we were wondering what we did wrong.
Well, probably too much of the magnesium in the bath water, and that with added you mentioned you also added baking soda to it.
Well, there was a little bit of that, yeah.
Yeah, in it was just too much. I mean, if you do something, you do well, and then you do something different, and you see the results of it, then it was not needed for the body. The body couldn't handle it.
Okay.
So it was too much. I think when you take a bath, it would be best to just water and not even hot water or very cold water, and try that first. And was he able to use showers, or how long was he in the water in the tub?
About 20 minutes, I would say.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, and definitely rinse very well, because that stuff gets into your body. It gets it in through the skin.
Yeah.
So it was definitely too much.
Yeah, I think the magnesium salts pull anything out that's in there because I got a very badly infected finger and I stuck it in this and it just opened up and everything, came out. But I think, that salt just pulls stuff out of your body. And I think it was obviously way too much.
Well, you already know what to do. I mean, with the diet
Yeah.
and maybe do a day water fast and see how that goes.
Okay.
Toni,
And
can we get some background? Is this are you treating them or?
well, there is a really bad lymph backup, and John has edema, and so bad that actually the skin was oozing, and really bad. And he's been very good the last few months on the correct diet and transitioning to more fruit, and he was doing really, really well. And so now this bat seems to have a little setback, a visible setback on the skin itself.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
I'm sure, you guys know what to do. It will get better again. It
Yeah,
won't,
no.
it's not like, okay, now we have to start all over. Well, you start all over every day anyway. That's the way I.
Don't we all?
Yeah,
The
so
thing- we also have a question about the itching. Is there any relief for that we can find? And is that just is that a positive sort of inflammatory response of trying to get?
yeah, it is usually, and that is my personal experience because I've been going through that also. Severe itching, even you don't see anything on the skin. It itches, you start scratching, and then it starts looking horrible. And to me, it's the liver, and it can be the kidneys too. So you have your formulas and your herbs and your diet, and at some point, because I know you use quite a few pharmaceuticals, address this with your doctor and don't, and that there is improvement on the diet and get your kidneys to filter. So it is, yeah, that is the key. Get your kidneys to filter, the lymph moving.
Mhm.
And when what he's very nervous about going off the warfarin because they scare you about, if you ever had, an
Oh,
AFib.
you cannot do that on your own. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But the experience that I have with warfarin, and we discussed that briefly, it's not necessary for me to bring that up. But what I learned back then is that it always has to be adjusted so you get the right dose. So anytime that you change your diet, then the doctor, has to do a test and see how much that you actually need.
Right.
Because I feel it is actually, and I think I can say that without getting in trouble with the medical industry, it is the most dangerous drug that is being used by doctors.
Yeah, yeah, I happen to agree with you, but with the warfarin, there at least John has weekly and had bi-week at some point, but he's having weekly INR checks, to make sure he's within range.
the 2 to 3
And
range.
they follow.
Right. So they do that, and yeah, you can't worry about it, but this is all that you can do. They keep testing and see if everything is in range, and so they should see once you are getting better that you can actually, it can be adjusted to what the needs are.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah. Did you, when you had gotten into trouble, I just have to ask you, I hope you don't mind, um, a question about your personal experience with warfarin. Were you having weekly INRs? Were
No,
they?
I didn't take it. I only I did not even when I had okay guys, I will start at the beginning. I had a heart attack
Yeah,
and I was in the hospital and they wanted to put stents in and I said no way.
yeah,
Then they put the dye in to see if I had blocked arteries, which I didn't, and I got brain issue because of that, which is all detoxed out and everything is fine. But not knowing they had put me on warfarin. I didn't know that.
Oh my
I
God.
knew I had seen, and I know John and Anne, you already know the story, but I'm just saying here to, for people who are listening, so things make sense. So I noticed that I was bleeding from my skin well, everywhere. And it was not gulping out because I would have been dead soon, but it was just bubbling up like from the pores of my skin, completely crazy. And now I had psoriasis, so it was worse on the spots. And this is 12 years ago, way before I met Dr. Morse. So it was worse on the psoriasis spots because the skin is there thinner, it's weaker. And I mentioned it to nurses, I mentioned it to a doctor, and all I got, oh, we have to clean you up before visitors come. So yeah, clean me up, wash me again, clean clothes on again. And then this went on for, I think, close to 2 days. And then the night nurse came in the end of that second day, and again, I was bloody all over. And she said, oh my God, we are killing you. And see, and it was not pills that I took, that they gave me, it was in the IV.
Oh, well, that's why they completely over medicated you with the.
Well, we know that now, but I knew of people who had internal bleeding of the wrong dose, and it happened also in the hospital. And so yeah, that scared the heck out of me. So even in the hospital, I had my laptop there. I was already researching what are the alternatives, and I found the alternatives. I ordered them, and when I came home, because of this, I had to stay 3 days longer in the hospital. Refused the warfarin, and they were not happy with me. And then when I got home, I used those Dr. Schultz's heart drops. And that was back then. It was hawthorn, cayenne, and garlic.
Were they nanokinase? Do you know that nanokinase? That's something that a lot of natural doctors are using for anticoagulation.
Yeah, that is what is being used. And the crazy thing is, you cannot eat like I think it is grapefruit, and because that has the same effect. But it's not something. It's you absolutely have to do that with your doctor being in control. And I see that it is often being suggested to take, or maybe even forced upon you. Well, it's not even that necessary. So I hope that you have a doctor who is willing to work with you, because once you get better, you will see that you need less and less and less.
Yeah,
That's
and
great.
the interesting thing is that John had a very successful cardio conversion in October, and he has a strong regular heart rate. And we met with a very knowledgeable, very open-minded doctor prior to the procedure, and he said that, I looked at John's, echoes, and he normally wouldn't be a good candidate for this conversion because he's been in AFib for 4 years. But because we have done a lot of, really good eating and a lot of good, positive things to get him, back in shape when his body started falling apart after his retirement. We had normalized his blood pressures. We had gotten him off the CPAP machine. We had normalized, he had a surgery that he ran into trouble because the doctors were incompetent with blood clots. We solved that problem. We solved like one problem after this. We solved the cataracts, but the other metabolic problems he was pre-diabetic. He has really low levels now because of all his good food. He's been eating pretty darn well. No processed food, not a whole lot like
And
that.
it is fruits and veggies, and at some
A lot of
point
fruits
we
and
get there.
veggies, yeah.
But we have more questions, so I hope you don't mind and that you got your other question answered. And we can, one of these days, we can set up another consultation and go from there.
Right.
Okay, great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Because I want to get into the lymph system, and we have another important question by Ethan. I have to ask you, Sarah or Gary, do you want to add anything to what I've been saying to Anne and John?
Not at this time. I don't know the background too much, but just meet up with Toni again and definitely get that information there. Maybe Gary has something he'd like to chime in.
Well, I agree with exactly what you said. It was a liquid magnesium you put in the bath.
No, it was magnesium salt crystals.
Okay.
Strong.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a lot of experience with those. I know when you put magnesium on your skin, it'll make your skin itch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
You mean
So-
if you don't have a problem, it'll make it itch? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I use a liquid magnesium very often called Remag from Dr. Dean, and it's a picoulated, and it bypasses the stomach and goes right into the cells, and it does feel slightly, itchy in the beginning.
Yeah.
It passes quickly, and it is extremely effective for, cramping and a lot of other things. So
Yeah, but we know that cramping often has also to do with dehydration.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
be aware of that. I had, before I knew all this, I had every night. These worst cramps. I got up 5, 6 times even.
Oh,
And it was horrible in my calf, and it hurts. You have to stand up, it goes away. Okay, back to sleep, an hour later, same thing. So I found this oil of magnesium that you put on the sole of your foot.
oh,
So
yeah.
I was like, well, I'm having this problem for so long, and if it works, it works. So they had a special. I ordered 12 bottles. And then all of a sudden, I wised up, started drinking a little bit more, no cramps at all. And now I still have 12 bottles of that stuff.
It's funny what hydration will do.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Takes muscle stiffness and the
Yeah.
joint.
Yeah. That's why I actually keep bringing it up. Elena said, sorry, I missed that. What dehydrated, Tony? It's just your body being dehydrated. And it can cause it can cause a lot of problems.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, the things that I noticed the most that were really standing out was the days that I didn't drink. I got constipation, that was one thing, and the cramps at night. So if I drink less than 2 liters in a day, which is not nearly enough for me, then I get cramps at night. If I drink, like the 3 liters, I'm perfectly fine. So, okay, I want to go back to Ethan.
Thank you.
Dr. Morse talked about juice fasting and cleaning the GI tract out. He has. I've seen so many people say it took them around 100 days to stop having movements. I did 30-day one and kept eliminating daily. Well, you know what, Ethan, I just did 40 days. And I kept eliminating, not much, but and it was watery. So that is when you are fasting, or I don't know if people were talking then that it would take them 100 days on only water. I don't think that they did that. I mean, we hear about, like I've done 40 days before, 41 days, 35 days. I was always eliminating. And whatever needs to come out of the body, it will come out. And what Dr. Morris does say about cleaning out the GI tract, make sure that you're well hydrated, then start using the GI Brome that gives it, it is a bulker, it has a bulker in it, but it also gives it a little push. So once you have your at least 2 normal bowel movements in a day, you can use the GI, Dr. Morris's GI Brome, and use that, for, I don't know. I don't even know if you should take it like for a month or longer. It is just see how it goes. It's with everything. Listen to your body. Does that answer your question, Ethan? Do you want to add anything, guys?
Are they just strictly on a juice fast right now?
Yeah, it's talking about juice fasting. And I think when you juice, it's still food.
Yes.
There is still digestion taking place. I have done it. The one time that I did, there could not be any fibers in it. So even when I had a lemon in my water, it went through a sieve, so there would not be anything in it, just the juice. And I kept having until, after 41 days, I still had bowel movements. Well, whatever you can call a bowel movement, stuff came out.
Right.
So
Mostly mucus, right?
yeah, that's actually true. That's actually true. Yeah.
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 And
But
that's
completely stop. No, I haven't heard that. I haven't heard Dr. Morse talking about that either. But you have so many now complete fruitarian groups that are well, about whatever to eat. And it's like nobody is really listening to their body. And how can you heal that way? Because it's all temporarily stuff that you do. You don't really change your lifestyle. You don't really, find a balance. I think that is the healing is also about finding a balance. And we have, we have the diet, we have the correct breathing. Learned that from Gary, the importance of it. We have the opening up of the 6 lymphatic gates, and it's just listen to your body. If you feel that you need to do more, for me now, I started eating some, and I'll tell you, no, it's not really a secret. It's my birthday Sunday, and I was like, I
Oh,
am craving for that one restaurant that I haven't been in a long time. It has vegan food, and it has these most delicious sweet potato fries. Yeah, I know they are being fried. I know, I'm aware of that.
no
And
guilt.
I decided I want to enjoy that on my birthday. Call me
Yeah.
crazy, not perfect. But it's already, I don't feel so great when I'm eating. I feel much better
Mm.
on my lemon water with the maple syrup. And I know you can hear it in my voice. I still have mucus coming out. I mean, I'm not done yet. So yeah, I gave myself a few days. I was 40 days and I wanted to make it 44 till my birthday Sunday. And I was like, okay, 40 days, which is pretty good.
Mm.
And then on Monday I go on a water fast for 7 days.
Can
Okay.
I ask you a
You
question? Is
have
there,
to unmute, Ann. Wait a minute.
oh,
Hello?
Okay. Yes, John?
Oh,
I'm just wondering about, don't we need some mucus in our bodies? I mean, isn't mucus has its place, doesn't it? Like, that's my,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Mucus has its place in the body, just like yeast mold and fungus has its place in the body. But when there's an overgrowth from too much acid, that's when the body gets in trouble. And what we're doing is we're stimulating the body in a through hydration, and it's pulling that mucus out along with the acid so that your body can go back to a normal to a balanced situation where the right amount of yeast mold fungus is in the body, because there's a lot of things that we eat that yeast mold and fungus is there to eliminate it.
Yes.
And so
Oh,
what happens is if we stay on that diet and it starts to feed the yeast mold fungus, starts to feed it more and more, it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger until it causes all kinds of issues in the body. Mucus is the same way, cortisol is the same way. It's all triggered by acids.
okay. I have a very important question to ask, but I think you can't hear me now, right? Can you?
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah, we
Can,
can hear.
okay. Because John, I think, has had a fungal problem, an overgrowth of fungus for many years. I mean, he's got
Mhm.
toenail fungus and he's got, he craves a lot of sweets. And the thing is that he does eat a lot of like dates, and he's sticking to all that kind of thing, like figs, dates for his sweets, um, raisins. And so I'm thinking, can those things feed the fungus too much? Should we cut back on those things that are acceptable to eat in this diet? Because I think he definitely struggles with the fungus problem.
Is he eating any fermented foods like bread or dairy or?
He eats, no, he's eating no dairy. He has some quinoa crisps sometimes in the morning that's totally, free of any chemicals. All it is quinoa, like flatbread things that are very thin, and that's the only thing that he has. He was having millet bread, a couple slices of that a week, but I looked closely at the ingredients and it looked like it had some wheat in it, and I thought that was bad, and I didn't think he was responding well, and he didn't either, so we cut that out. But we do these little quinoa flatbreads, like one of them a day in the morning but which he gets a big thrill out of. So
Yeah.
If I may button, and
Yeah.
try to eat only fruit in the morning.
Only fruit, yeah.
Only fruit. Now, if it is a big glass of orange juice, it doesn't matter. If it's a big glass of lemon water with maple syrup, but make it fruit, not bananas, not dates. Don't start your day with that.
Okay.
And
Okay.
and
He
the
does have
millet,
a
the
lemon.
millet or the quinoa, it's a seed.
Yeah.
It was setting me back,
Okay.
and it still it it's probably fermented. It has baking soda in it. Unless, and I made these things myself. I made bread with quinoa and chia seeds, lemon and baking soda, and you got delicious bread, but it wasn't helping my health.
Yeah, yeah,
And with dates, if you eat 6 dates in a day, that's fine.
okay.
And in the afternoon or something, and you get hungry, mix a date with a banana. And I love bananas, and I kind of puree them, and I add a little maple syrup when I get really hungry.
Yeah.
And it's not something that I do every day, but as a delicious sweet, it's amazing.
Yeah, he does eat. John is absolutely totally crazy about bananas. He wants me to buy 20 bananas at a time.
Yeah, well, that's not really a detox food. And let him, he needs to get through this a little bit more and go more into the other fruits, mangoes, kiwis, grapes, whatever you can find.
Yeah, he does eat a
And
little
go
bit.
slow with the bananas and and raisins and some dry fruit. It's okay, but don't make it your meals. It's see it as a snack.
Yeah. So we have salads and bananas for yeah. So how about if I give him a juice, some just fruit juice, like actually of a juicer, so I could
Frozen berries.
and I give him a huge glass of frozen berries. It's like churned up in the blender.
Yeah, that is absolutely a great one. I did that recently. I had a whole I had a whole package with blueberries, and they were getting a little wrinkly, and I was like, okay, in the blender. So all I did was I added 1 or 2 dates and that container with I think it had like 12 ounce, 10 or 12 ounce, in the blender, a little bit of water, and you have the most delicious smoothie.
Yes, exactly. And then the other
These
thing is,
things are all, yeah, and these things are all good. I hope you don't mind, but I need to go to the next question because we haven't even gotten to the.
I just have a quick
Okay.
question. This is my main question. Just the main question is water quality. Do you have filtered water? Because we have well water, and the guy came in and it tastes delicious, but it has things floating around in it, and we run the water and then it clears up. And he said it was slightly on the acidic side. So I've been trying to substitute alkaline water for the well water. It's not.
Yeah, well, I think it would be the cheapest thing for you to do would buy on Amazon a distiller for $80, $80 or $90,
Mhm.
and run your water through a distiller, and you're good to go.
Okay, you think distilled water with no nothing in it, like no
That is why we add a lemon to it and
yeah,
some
yeah,
maple syrup. But I learned to drink it. It took me a few days. I learned to drink the distilled water too. And this is where Gary said, and I found that especially with the distilled water, use a tiny pinch of Celtic salt in it.
yeah. Okay.
And to a point that you cannot taste it, like Gary said, then you put in too much.
Yeah, that's a
Right.
good piece of information because I do put salt in there, but it's usually way too much, obviously, from what
Yeah,
you get.
just a little tiny bit. So about distilled water.
Yeah.
Distilled water is acidic.
Oh,
Okay, I want you to understand that. But when you put the lemon and you put the maple syrup and stuff in it, you're changing the pH of the water. But
oh,
what's important about distilled water is it carries a negative electromagnetic charge. Your
okay.
body is a negative electromagnetic charge.
Yeah.
All the impurities in your body that are there that you're trying to detox out
Yeah.
carry a positive electromagnetic charge.
Okay.
So when you drink distilled water,
Yeah.
the negative magnetism pulls in the positive and they connect and they flush out together.
Oh, wow, that's fascinating. I've been reading about electrons and voltage and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Just really in the energy in the cell and everything. So that makes total sense to me. Thank you. That's very
Yeah,
interesting.
and the pH of your skin is 5.5 to 6. 6, which is what distilled water is, around 6 pH. So when it lands on your skin, it doesn't burn you.
Oh, okay. And the distilled
Okay.
water you get in the tubs of at the grocery store, is that
No,
you can't have that? No. Is
well,
it?
it's not that you can't have it, but remember, it's in a plastic container,
Yeah, yeah, plastic.
and water is an astringent.
Yeah.
And where it's a negative and the plastic, it's drawing the plastic compounds out of the plastic into the water. And you can sometimes taste the plastic in the water when you drink distilled water that's in a bottle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing matches making your own. And we have an
That's right.
electric one that you just plug it in. It's all stainless
Yep.
steel. And in about 2.5 hours, you have maybe 3/4 of a gallon. But it's quiet, it runs. So that would be your best bet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
And
about
I,
$80 on Amazon. $80, you said?
I'll look one up and
yeah,
I'll post it in the chat.
yeah, something like that.
And actually mine does a gallon, 1.5 gallon.
What's the name of yours, Tony?
I don't know.
Okay.
Something with VE in it. Vivo or something like that.
Okay.
It's a cheap one. It's not even $90. And I have two because with two people we go through a lot of water.
Yep.
And we use it for everything. And Elena asked, what is the best pH level for us to drink? I heard Dr. Morse say, because there are so many people who getting this really, really high pH alkaline water, thinking that will, they don't need to change anything else, just the water to get an alkaline body. It doesn't work that way. But he said the maximum pH that you should drink is 8, not above that.
Okay.
So that would be the maximum.
And one more thing, keep in mind, most of those waters that are sold that have this pH in them are in a plastic bottle. And a lot of health food stores I see, they put their water in the front window where the sun's shining on it.
Yep.
And so I'm like, well, I'm not drinking that. So
And
make
it
your
might have
own
been in
water.
there.
Yeah.
It might have been in there for 2 years before you actually bought it.
But who knows exactly?
No,
So, and I don't
that-
trust anyone. So I make my own.
Do you put all your food in glass jars and stuff that come in plastic?
Yes, well, I don't have food that comes in plastic.
Mm-mm.
Because, the grocery stuff, we actually have linen bags where we can put our lettuces in.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It stays better, so then it's not in plastic.
Yes.
And other than that, we don't buy anything in plastic.
Yep. But I mean, do the best you can do,
Right.
with what you have at your option. Wash them, clean them, pray over them, and just put your good healing energy in it and eat it all up. So
That's
the
way.
best thing you can do is start.
That's the way to go, right?
This is something. This is something you can do too. Is you rub your hands together. I don't know if you know how to make an energy ball, but just rub your hands together, and then this is master cleanse in it, right? And you put your hand over the top of the water, like your 6 pH or whatever. And nature is always seeking balance, and nothing is more powerful in nature really than water. And the vibration from your hand will tune the water to your frequency, and it will feel the imbalances, and it will start to correct the imbalances when you that's what prayer does, right? When we pray over something, right? We're putting our energy into that food, and that energy is chemically changing to match your body. Same with the water and the liquids. Just put your hand over it, rub your hand, even if it's on your leg, and just hold it over the top, and it will change that frequency to your frequency. So it will be healing when it goes in your body.
Oh, wow.
How long does that take to hold this for a few seconds or?
Yeah, just for a few seconds. Yeah. When you sit down, you do a prayer at night or something like that over your food. It only takes a second. Well, same thing with this.
Oh my gosh.
That's great, Gary.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Gary.
we completely forgot about all that. I mean, people always did that.
What about water that moves? I've heard that if you take a shower, it becomes living water when the water moves. Like if you go out to a stream and you bathe in a waterfall or drink water from a clean stream, you get these this energy that is living water, and it really hydrates you better and does all these healing things to your body. You ever heard of that, Gary?
Well,
Or
yeah, and that's a 6 pH.
as a 6 pH? Ah,
Yeah, rain is a 6 pH.
okay. So
And
bathing
you're
bath isn't as good as a shower. A shower is moving water. So I would think that maybe that would be healthier, right?
to be in the stream would be healthier because you're grounded. You kind of are in a tub, but you notice they took the cast iron tubs out. They took all the copper uh, tubing out, and it's all plastic now. Well, you can't ground with plastic. You used to be able, when you sat in a tub, that's why people love to take showers, and they have a metal base and metal pipes.
Yeah.
You're actually grounded to the earth outside
We
because the
have old
pipes.
metal pipes. We have, oh, this house is a 1700s house, and our
Okay.
bathtub is filled with a blue ring around it, and it's copper. And we're thinking maybe we're getting too much copper exposure because it just leaves bright blue.
The blue ring is from a cast iron tub.
Yeah, so we have a
Yeah.
very old cast iron tub, I guess,
Yep.
that is wonderful. It's but is you don't think the blue is represents copper, and that's why we run the water for 5 minutes before we drink it, because it's coming from a well that's way down this way away from us. So anyway, I often wondered about that. Do you
Yeah.
think that's
Well,
okay?
you could do a blood test on that and see if you have too much copper in your body.
Yes,
It's a good idea.
very good idea. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay, may I move on, guys?
Yep.
Okay, because I want to get back to and Ethan had I think it's pretty interesting what you wrote down, Ethan. When we were talking about, having solid movements on the juice fast, you right. I mean to finally stop having solid movements on the juice fast. I had solid large eliminations daily for 30 days. It was so shocking. Also, I noticed sulfur being purged out of my GI tract when juicing. My God, I hope that you are really happy with all that stuff. I'm saying it nicely. Coming out of your body. It's meant to
Yeah.
come out, Why would you worry about it? I mean, whatever needs to come out comes out.
Right.
The more the better, I would say. Be happy with it, especially with, the sulfur is coming out. My gosh, this is amazing. This really is amazing. So I hope you can see it that way too. You're doing great. I would, I don't know if I would want to. Well, I know people who did an 365 days only on juices, and they were healed from MS. So amazing things and miracles do happen. Your body can heal, and I think it is great. All that stuff that's coming out. I wish that was my experience, but it wasn't. But it still can be. Sue says, I have a callus on my left foot by my pinky toe, and it's sometimes painful. What is the solution? Well, the first question is always, what exactly are you eating? Are you on all fruit? Have you tried fasting? I don't know with a callus. I have no experience with that. Do you, Gary?
Sounds like the shoe's too tight.
Well, I actually have some experience with that too. And Toni, you know that you were trying to help with my stepdad. And once we moved him to all fruit and stuff, one of the calluses on his foot ruptured open on the bottom. And they went in, and he had diabetes really bad and stuff like that too. So, I mean, we were obviously too late when we got started. But we did see some improvements in the first place. But, when stuff has to come out of your body, it's just going to come out one way or another. I'm not saying that's going to happen to you, but that's what happened with him. And he left it untreated and stuff like that. He refused to take treatment, ended up getting staph infection. I mean, it was a whole mess. So definitely keep an eye on it. It could just be something as much as a shoe or something like that, but keep an eye on it, especially if it's painful.
Yeah,
I know of one of my clients, he had it under her foot, and doctors couldn't help her. It was not healing. And she started on all fruit, and I think it took her about a little over a month. And she said it's actually, and it was more than callus, it was an open wound already.
Yeah.
It was healing. Yeah, I eat mostly raw fruit. I go barefoot a lot. Yeah.
Maybe just barefoot on the grass.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
definitely be a good thing.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
is
keep an
it,
eye on it for sure.
yeah, Sue, is it hurting when you are barefoot, or is it under the foot, or is it on the side, or is it painful when you're wearing shoes?
Did it start when you were wearing shoes?
Yeah, it takes a while before the connection is there in the live chat.
It's okay.
It's live, but not that live.
But a callus, I mean, callus is usually from rubbing. You know, I used to have 27 calluses on each hand from shovels and chisels and doing all the stuff that I did when I was younger. And they've almost all gone away now. People who play guitar, they have calluses on the end of their fingers. So I'm wondering, could it be, is it really a callus? And if it is, it's usually from rubbing and, you know, twisting on things. And so it could be your shoes, maybe a specific shoe.
He said it can come when I'm barefoot, and the pain comes and goes.
Huh. Well, it's got to be inflammation there for there to be
Could
pain.
it be like a
Planter's
fungus?
wart. Maybe a planter's wart. Possible.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah. So have you tried the on the outside? Have you tried Dr. Morse's Parasite M? Or even we've done that, even heel alti for the footbed with heel alti, strong heel alti.
Hmm.
You can try that.
Yeah, ionized foot bath, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm totally guessing when I say that because I don't know what exactly it is. But if it is plantar fasciitis, that's acid. And it's building that around it to try to protect itself, because the body will try to protect itself. I mean, that's why, you know, really toxic acids get stuffed into fat cells, and it's like an insulating layer around it, almost like mucus around the cell. When there's acid there, the body has to try to compensate for that, so it'll build these little sterilized containers that we know as a tumor, a cyst, a boil, or a pimple. And as those keep enlarging, it's because you're feeding it. So it's actually alive. And it stinks because it's sewage. And it's cellular sewage, cellular waste. So this is why dogs will come up and start poking their owner in one spot or another, and they just won't leave them alone. And this one woman went to a doctor, and the name of the article was "The Dog Saved My Life," because he was going under her arm, and he wouldn't leave it alone. Well, it smells like poop. That's what tumors smell like. And she went to the doctor. They found the tumor, and so she gave the dog credit for saving her life. In a way, that dog did save her life. But we must remember that that sterilized container was built by the body. And if you poke a hole in it, it'll be like having a balloon and poking a hole in a balloon full of water. It's going to leak out. Well, if that's cancer in there and it leaks out, it's not good for the rest of the body. It's not good for the rest of the cells.
Spreads the
And
cancer. Spreads the cancer. That's
yes.
why it's not good to keep like
Gary, do you realize we went from callus to cancer? That's not a good jump. Let's not do.
Yeah, okay. All right.
But yeah,
Focus, Gary.
yeah, you know what it is too. I'm not a fan of putting anything on the skin to block it off. And let the body do its work, because it will do it. And like you mentioned, you didn't change your diet until you were 70. I don't know when that was. I forgot. I know you told me in the past, but I don't remember. but anyway, it's like the diet has to do the job. And I see with other people close to me that they have a basically mostly fruit and salads and no fats, and so doing pretty good. But then there is the occasional good meal, a cooked meal, and then I see little things on the skin popping up. So then we know that the body is not happy. And I see that with others. Of course, I see that with myself too. I eat a cooked meal and my skin shows me like, are you sure about that? You're going to do that again? So it's kind of, well, I can't really say fun, but it's like, listen to your body, see how your body responds, see what you can change. We have and I still find that an absolutely great resource is the mucusless diet. I recently had a person, oh, I did that diet too, and it didn't help me. And I was like, there's no way that it can't help you, because it is exactly what Dr. Morse is teaching us. You want to heal, you go on all fruit, not even the greens. The greens is like, okay, part of the regeneration. Um, so I'm sorry, I got a little distracted here. And but it is the whole mucusless foods list. It is in the description. If you want to see it, have it, you can email me. My email is also in the description of the video. And it shows you what you can eat if you want to detox, and don't, maybe we should not even say detox, it is healing. It's like the word detox, it became so like, oh, I do a 3 days or a month detox and I'm done, I'm healed, and etc. It doesn't work that way. And then you find a balance, and the number is 1 to 7. It's like a transitioning diet, but I also see it as a maintenance diet. Later on, I'm not going to tell you you can never eat any cooked food. You will do that anyway. So then better make sure that you know which foods is doing what in your body. So that whole list, I think it goes from 1 to 16, but everything under 7, so from 8 to 16 shows you that is mucus forming, that is acidic forming, that is doing this. The meat, the nuts, the seeds, the chocolate, the coffee, everything is on there. So you know what it does to your body, and you can make an informed decision. Because whatever you eat, it's always your decision. That's the same with me. If I decide I go 40 days on an absolutely awesome and feeling great, what is it? Well, lemon water fast, and then I decided to eat because I want to go to a restaurant. You can call it stupid, and I am like, no, it's fun. I know what I'm doing, and I can go back later. And we're humans, we're people. We make. I don't even call it a mistake. And I don't even call it a setback. It's like, the strength that we all have, and accept these things, and have fun about it. And I am thoroughly going to enjoy those sweet potato fries. So here we go. There was something else that I needed to respond to. Oh yeah, Cap says, hey Tony, I was just worrying about you. I haven't seen you typing in the Facebook group in a while. That was the Dr. Fans of Dr. Robert Morse ND group. Yes, I worked for 5 years in that group. Was very happy doing that. And after 5 years, and the first 2 years, pretty much 2 years, I worked full time in it. But it was time for a change, because I also, it was a good thing that I'm no longer in that group, because I can focus on my own group, my smaller group. And I post a lot there. So I just suggest everyone goes there. The link is in the description too, I believe. And I do a lot of consultations throughout the days and writing protocols. So I cannot even be in such a large group and constantly answering questions, guiding people. And as much as I love doing it, I would say, come to the smaller group. And yeah, and I'm always, available for consultations. I do have an option for an 15-minute discovery call, where we can see if we're a good match to work together to help guide you on your healing journey. So that's what I'm doing now, and I'm very happy with it. And yeah, everything goes well. And I am, yeah, and I have to say that I am really, really blessed that I have the opportunity to talk to so many really amazing people that want to learn. Because, you know, we became more or less a teacher. You know, Gary is a teacher, Sarah is, I am, and sharing what we learned personally, not only from Dr. Morse Sasso, but we experienced it personally, and we make the mistakes, and we keep doing, and yeah, it's I think it's a beautiful journey. When I started, and this is now 6 years ago, I found out that, okay, you have a certain age and you've been sick so long, so now you will be completely healed in so many years. And I thought, oh my God, that's 70 years. How do I ever get to that point? And then, you know, it was soon after I started, I learned it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's a lifetime, because your life changes, your eating habit change, your everything changes. And yeah, that's what Sue says. Life in general is a beautiful journey. Well, yeah, we can make it beautiful. And so yeah, and now I see it's 1:11. We've been talking for over an hour. We got a ton of good information out, and we haven't gotten to the lymphatic system yet. What do you think, Gary and Sarah? Should we, or should we just leave it till next week? I mean, we can get into it, but I think that will be another 45 minutes, and
Yeah.
I make it too long.
Right.
So
Right. And I'm limited with having to do school pickup. So
yeah, see, so, and if anybody, I already put it in a PDF. So if you feel you want to be ahead of what we promised, or you were interested in the topic of today, what we were talking about, and of course, the things that I have in this article comes from the website drmorse.com. And Morses, oh, what is it? Morses, Dr. Morses. Oh my gosh, now I'm like, yeah, drmorses.com. This is a blog, and written, or actually, it's written by Jennifer and Colleen, I think. And they, from Jennifer, worked with Dr. Morse for, I think, 9 or 10 years. So there is a ton of good information on that website, and I do work with them. And you know, so I put that whole blog, you can find it on the site, but I put it in an article, so, or PDF, and I can email that to you. That all making any sense, guys?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for the email. That would be wonderful.
Okay, I will email it to you. Gary, are you still there, or did you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
My
okay.
phone fell.
Oh my God. All right.
well, thank you all so much. And
Yeah, it was amazing. Thank you for the questions, because we got into topics we didn't even expect going into there, and that's still good.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
good,
thanks-
by the
thanks so much.
way.
Thanks everybody.
Okay. Thank you all for being here. I would say till the next time, and we
Thank you
dive
all.
deeper into the lymphatic system, especially with Gary's help, because he came up with so many eye-opening teachings for all of us that, yeah, it's important. So thank you. Much love to everyone. Until the next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Love you.
Goodbye, everybody.